Well, hello, all my amazingly beautiful zodiac family and friends. My name is Libra Empress, and we are going to be doing Tarot and Tarot today with me, Libra Empress, because I missed doing it with you guys. Alright, now that the greeting is over, let's. Can you see me now? I hope you guys are having a great day. Quick disclaimer. What was it I wanted to say? I'm late on doing this. Like I'm always late on everything, but it's been hectic. Last week I published like 4 books. This week I've been putting together videos for my other channel, Para Explore. That way, like I got this thing going where it's cold cases in Utah, and then I'm gonna do all of them in Utah and then move to the next state. You know, not actually move to the next state, but like do the next state and then all the cold cases in them. Does that make sense? So today, we are going to do 5 unidentified people who appeared out of thin air. Now, this is from Dark 5. Please, if you do go to his website on YouTube and hit subscribe. His stuff's really good. Let's get started, shall we? Sorry about all that background noise.
People vanish mysteriously all the time, but occasionally people also mysteriously appear out of nowhere, surprising and often deeply concerning those who discover them. Gil Perez. On October 26, 1593, a soldier seemingly materialized out of nowhere at Plaza Mayor in Mexico City. The plaza guard saw what they would later describe as a man walking in a trance, wearing a Philippine soldier uniform. As soon as he was noticed, he was arrested. It seemed unbelievable that he had somehow gotten into Plaza Mayor undetected, due to the high level of security surrounding the palace where the viceroy of what was then New Spain resided. Upon being apprehended, the soldier claimed to be a Spaniard by the name of Gil Perez, who had up to that point been serving in Manila and the Philippines. He reported having been on patrol only 3 days earlier, as Manila soldiers stayed on high alert due to the unexpected assassination of the Philippines Governor General. Reportedly, he leaned against a wall to rest for a second, but after opening his eyes, he found himself at Plaza Mayor, across the ocean, where he had never been before, amongst differently attired soldiers. The people of New Spain had yet to hear any news of the governor's assassination, and had no reason to believe Gil Perez was telling the truth. His claims were dismissed by the guards, but they were not taken lightly. Rather than believe he had somehow teleported himself, the highly religious society branded him a devil worshipper or satanic servant and threw him in prison. The mysterious soldier was locked up for several months until a ship came in from Manila carrying news of the assassination. Even more extraordinary, upon hearing about the arrested Philippine soldier, a fellow soldier aboard the ship claimed to know Perez and to have seen him on October 23rd. The 3 days between each of his sightings meant Perez could not possibly have traveled by sea. Yet, rather than pursue a trial for witchcraft, devil work, or some other menacing interpretation of his sudden appearance in New Spain, the government released him. Gil Perez joined the crew of the ship from the Philippines and went on his way. Many have theorized about the strangeness of the case, with some crediting the quick transportation to an alien abduction, teleportation, portals, or impersonation. Either way, the truth remains a mystery, as the records from 1593 are incomplete. Rudolph Fentz. In June of 1950, a man in 19th century attire was spotted walking in confusion halfway through an intersection in New York City. Witnesses reportedly remembered him due to his out-of-date clothes. After he was hit by a cab, his belongings were examined by the police. In his pristine, out-of-touch clothes, they found pre-1870s banknotes, a copper token for an unheard-of saloon, a bill from a stable for horse care and carriage wash, and a letter from 1876. Investigators were shocked, theorizing that perhaps the 30-year-old had been some sort of 19th century aficionado, but an additional finding suggested a more mysterious possibility. In one of his pockets, they located a business card containing his address and name, Rudolph Fentz.
Do you know the #1 female turn-on of all time? No, it's not confidence. It's not charm, game.
A captain of the NYPD's Missing Persons Department decided to follow the lead. Asking around the neighborhood where the address was located, the captain ran into a problem. No one seemed to know a Rudolph Fentz. There was no record of him in the phone book, nor were there any matches for his fingerprints. No Rudolph Fentz had been reported missing. Yet the captain refused to give up. Rudolph Fentz Jr. was listed in a telephone directory from 1939. It seemed like a long shot, but once again, the captain chose to follow the lead. The results from the second search were arguably more productive. An elderly woman now lived in the apartment listed in the directory. Allegedly, she was Rudolph Fentz Jr.'s widow. Collaborating with an inquiry, she claimed that her late husband's father had disappeared while out on a walk in 1876 at the age of 31, when her husband was still a child. An exhaustive search and a fruitless investigation were reportedly launched at the time. With this new information, the NYPD captain went to check the missing person report from 1876. The old woman's tale seemed truthful. Rudolph Fentz had vanished in 1876 on an evening walk. The descriptions of his clothes matched the clothes retrieved from the 1950s man. The face of the 1950s man matched the picture included in the file. The captain was shaken to his core. Perhaps afraid of coming across as a madman, or perhaps even concerned of the implications the case could have, the captain dropped the findings from the official report of the investigation, but the story made it through, and much theorizing has been made over the possibility that Rudolph Fentz traveled through time and space. The story appeared in a number of publications back through the 1950s, leaving many to wonder about its true origin. Christmas Sailor. February 6, 1942. Lookouts on Christmas Island in the Indian Ocean saw what they believed to be a Japanese submarine out at sea. They sent out a pilot boat and discovered a Carly float, which was then dragged to the shore. They found the belongings of a person who was sent to a medical examiner. A grave was dug near Flying Fish Cove. A blue boiler suit that had been found was now white from exposure. It reportedly had 4 plain-pressed studs. Other than that, there were no identifying documents, tags, or any personal objects to go off of. The one object that could be of any help was a shoe. But word of mouth and written records disagree about the exact words on it. Some claimed it said Crown 4, while others claimed it was branded McCowan or McEwen. Others claimed it was not a shoe, but rather a pair of boots. Written reports on the findings were destroyed during the Japanese occupation, and medical records disappeared, along with their conclusions. A popular theory was that the life raft came from the HMAS Sydney, since the metal framework read, quote, Lysat Dua Anil Zinc, made in Australia. Damage to the float had been made by guns or shell fire. The underside of the float was packed with barnacles, meaning it had floated at sea for a long period of time. In April of 1949, the Director of Naval Intelligence sent the Director of Victualling a note asking whether the float could have come from the Sydney. But the Director of Victualling pointed out that the Navy had never adopted suits with press studs such as the one found. Royal Australian Navy officers often purchase their own boiler suits, however, so he left that element open to the possibility. Other than that fact, the rest of the note was mostly ignored. Later on, the Royal Australian Navy stated that the covering of the float was not the same as that used by their warships, which meant it could not possibly have come from the Sydney. In 1998, the Joint Standing Committee for Foreign Affairs, Defense, and Trade inquired about the matter, searching for the unmarked grave to obtain DNA to compare to the relatives of the Sydney crew, in an attempt to assess whether the loss of the float had come from an unknown sailor aboard the cruiser. The grave was not found until a second search in 2006 locating it. After a ceremony with full military honors, the contents of the gravesite were moved to the Commonwealth War Graves part at the Geraldton Cemetery in November of 2008. The DNA gathered was compared to relatives of the personnel from the Sydney, but no match was found. The origin of the Carly floatman was never identified. Man in the Cylinder. During the Blitzkrieg, an area between Great Homer Street and the A59 in Liverpool was bombed to the ground.
That smells like you could be a sexy pirate.
Yo ho, matey.
Men, this?
The area went untouched after first responders dealt with the fire, But in 1943, a crew of American soldiers took a bulldozer and shovels to level the ground and take out any rubble. One of them uncovered a metal cylinder 6 feet 9 inches long with a diameter of 19 inches. At first they worried it was an explosive, but upon further examination was deemed harmless. The cylinder was left in the area and was integrated into the neighborhood, used as a bench or as an object for children to run around and jump on while playing. In July of 1945, one of those children discovered, through a small hole made by a bulldozer at one end which had deteriorated progressively, a skeleton's foot. Police Chief Robert Bailey was called in, and an investigation was launched. A local welder was asked to open up the cylinder. Inside was a full skeleton in Victorian clothes. A notice from the London North Western Railway from 1885 and some illegible papers were found. These were restored, revealing receipts and account sheets for the T.C. Williams & Co. company. He had a gold ring with a bloodstone inscribed 1859. Looking into the T.C. Williams & Co. company, it was uncovered that it was a paint manufacturing plant that closed in 1884. It was theorized that the owner, Thomas Cregeen Williams, may be the person whose remains were found. Yet the investigators could not determine how he ended up inside the cylinder. Furthermore, it was rumored that Williams had changed his name and moved abroad after his company failed. The identity of the Cylinder Man has yet to be determined. Monsieur Ciucciani. Monsieur Ciucciani lived under a made-up name, and his true identity and origin remains a mystery to this day. With no published work, Ciucciani's most recognizable accomplishment was his profound effect on the Nobel Peace Prize winner Elie Wiesel and on the famous philosopher Emmanuel Levinas, who once referred to his tutor as a, quote, wonderful teacher. Reportedly disheveled in character, Monsieur Ciucciani was often described as dirty and unpleasant, with Wiesel even going so far as to write that he, quote, looked like a hobo turned clown, or a clown playing hobo. Despite his outward appearance, Ciucciani touched the hearts and minds of his students, speaking on matters of philosophy, mathematics, and theology. Both of his standout students credit his teaching skills with contributing immensely to their work. Yet the messy teacher remained an enigma to his students, taking many of his secrets to the grave. Virtually nothing is known about the teacher's origins. The few details of his life that are known include that he resided in Paris post-World War II from 1947 to 1952, that he materialized in either Israel or Paris from time to time as if by thin air, and that he spent his final years in Uruguay. His birth year is said to have been 1895, but such a date is uncertain, with no tangible evidence of age or birthplace. Even his name remained a mystery to those that knew him. Ciucciani has been theorized to be a biblical reference to the city of Shushan, today Iran, but it's unknown if that was part of his real name or whether he assigned it to himself. The anonymity and secrecy followed him to the very end. His headstone in Montevideo, written by Elie Wiesel, reads, quote, the wise Rabbi Ciucciani of blessed memory. His birth and his life are sealed in enigma.
Oh, wow. Those were really good, actually. How do you not know how someone got into a cylinder? There's gotta be more to that. I need to see a picture of a cylinder, apparently, and see how that works. I need to broaden my knowledge. Alright. So, I pulled some cards. Yep, I did while we were listening to those. It's a little bit different this week, huh? Oh, sorry about the ads. That's just, yeah. That's one way that, I don't know, ads help pay for videos, right? So, like, to compensate the person who created them. Let's get started on this. Let me move this screen out of the way so you don't just see that no more. There we go. Something spooky, huh? Okay. So I pulled 12 cards. Sometimes during each pull of cards, like 2 popped out. So we're doing the dead spread, like usual. What was this person's purpose in life? Their purpose was to deal with a karmic cycle. Alright? So that's the Magician in reverse. What I get here is that their purpose was to learn from their mistakes that they weren't able to learn from their past life. And they did. They learned really quick what a manipulator was and how to manifest. Yeah. Okay. What were you, my beautiful friends, to learn from this person's life? You were to learn that not everybody's family is as great as we hope. Alright? There was a lot of trouble in the home when this person was there. I don't know if it was in his or her home growing up, or if it was them as adults projecting these onto their kids or whatnot, right? Or family members. But there was a lot of disgruntled family members and dysfunctional problems. What you were to learn from their death was to not give up your wishes, dreams for material, physical, and happiness in any general form, alright? The reason behind their death, I think, has a lot to do with I don't know if they died from like a horse accident or was stabbed. This could be for anyone. They weren't getting justice for what happened. This person could have been a Libra, Capricorn, or not Capricorn, maybe Capricorn. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy. Alright. How are you to use what you'll gain from them? You will use your intuition. Every time I see this card, the moon looks like a sun because it has rays. It gets me every time. You'll use your intuition because they're trying to talk to you. It's like you were the type of person who, when you were growing up, you saw them and you saw the mistakes that they were making or anybody was making, and you realized that them making that mistake was enough for you to not have to make that mistake. You know what I mean? Like if they burnt themselves, you thought, no, I'm not going to burn myself on the stove. I'll be smarter. I'll learn from their mistakes. And that's exactly what they wanted you to know and to do. Okay? Because there's secrets going on around you. What they want you to know is that there's a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo headed your way, if not already there, right? Offering money and new beginnings, okay? That you're not alone there. Their greatest memory is prevailing after a tower moment. I don't know if you realize this, but this person, their most closest, nearest and dearest memories are living humbly, right? Sometimes you find happiness living homeless. I know that sounds weird, like from bouncing place to place, because then you reevaluate your situation and find out what's really important. It's not so much the material as it is being with family, even if it's dysfunctional. So I see a lot of spending nights in a car. For some of you, it was a red car. What you can do for them is basically this: Six of Pentacles in reverse and the Death card. They want you to They want you to know that it's okay to acknowledge their failures. But they want you to forgive and well, not so much forget, but transition. They want you to move on. It's okay that it didn't happen this way. For others of you, I see murder. How they see you is they see you as the Four of Pentacles, right? They see you as someone who's building your empire, slowly but surely. You're staying focused, determined. They want you to know that you need to pull out of your head. Does that make sense? You're stuck in your head over anxiety and the fear of the unknown. And they want you to know that you're going to heal. You're going to heal and you're going to move on. And things are going to get better. You just have to perceive the glass is half full, not half empty. Alright? They prefer you to be contacted through your heart. Basically praying. Alright, they see you as someone who is very motherly, even if you're masculine, right? This is the feminine energy of the Empress. They also, they're guarding you, they're protecting you. They know you're going through some pain, and you're not alone there. The last words that they have for you is this: stay true to yourself. Okay, you're going to find truth with this King of Wands. This is Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius energy. You're also going to find a purpose to become an entrepreneur, right? Stay faithful. Keep having faith and whatnot. Because there are big plans in store for you. And it seems like trivial right now because of all the bullshit, but life is a roller coaster. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I have this cough and it catches me off guard. The bottom of the spread tells me this: you're gonna have, you're gonna have material problems, and that's okay. We all do. You're gonna be dealing with a sharp tongue, Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. But you're being given a new beginning. Okay, new money. It's like an unexpected blessing. But it's not exactly the way you expect it to happen. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. Alright. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I love you all. I am gonna go live soon. I don't know when. And I'm gonna start knocking out your guys' tarot readings left and right, because I need to get on top of that. Sorry about that weird noise. My husband can't breathe out of his nose. I'll let you guys go. Have a wonderful and terrifying, Friday night. Even though today's like Saturday. Yeah. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share, and join me again for next time's Tarot and Tarot. Bye, my beautiful Zodiac family and friends.